G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I've got a video that I've actually been wanting to do for a while. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be ranking the items that we can buy in the Radiance store. Now this is subject to change because the Radiance store can be changed in the future, and so I will make adjustments to this when I need to. But I wanted to just to put out a video. I wanted to wait until after Banquet because I think there may have been some adjusting since then. But Radiance is obviously the premium currency in the game. Everyone wants it. Everyone wants it for, rank 4s, Titan characters, Sig Stones, whatever. Units, of course. And so, but also some people can be confused as to what you should be prioritizing with Radiance. Because some things that you should absolutely prioritize. There's also some things that you really should try to avoid. So in this video, I'm going to rank every single item in the Radiant store. I've got all of them listed here on a tier list. I'll put a link to the tier list down below so you can save a copy for yourself. But let's get straight into it. So I've sort of put these in like a random order. And not all of these are like accurate, but I'll do my best to explain each one. So let's start with the, let's go left to right. So let's start with Sig Stones. Now we've got Sig Stones, we've got class 6 stones here. We've also got generic 6 stones. These are both for 7 stars. These you want to get a lot of. Now, I actually max these out every month, and this is what I recommend. However, if you're not in a position to afford all of them per month, you can maybe only buy 3 to 4 per month. And so I should explain the tiers. So max out, you want to get like 10 per month, or max it out every single month. Every time the Radiant store resets, day 1 Radiance, you want to be getting these items as soon as you can. 3 to 4 per month is usually, the things in this tier will usually be a lot of expensive items that you can't really afford to max out, but you still want a lot of. 1 to 2 per month are still typically pretty expensive, but you don't want as many as the 3 to 4. Only when needed. I'll explain that when I get to it. Rarely, I'll explain as well, and never is self-explanatory. You never want to get the items in this tier. 6 stones, yeah, I do recommend maxing these out, because even though 6 stones are easier to get, and we got a lot of 6 stones in Banquet, you still want more. You can never have enough 6 stones, and especially because 7 stars are going to be the future for the way forward. You always want 6 stones for the new and upcoming champions that get added to the Titans. Not only for their Sig abilities, but also because a lot of the new champions will be high prestige. So it's always good to have as many 6 stones as you can. So that's where the 6 stones go. Now next up is tier 3 alpha, and this should probably go hand in hand with tier 6 basic, wherever those down here. So I put these only when needed. Like they're pretty cheap. You can buy them for a pretty cheap price. And so if you ever come short, you can definitely get them, but there are cheaper ways to get these catalysts. So I only recommend buying these if you're really, really struggling on them. If you're desperate for like a new rank 3 or potentially a rank 4. For the most part, you don't really need many of these from Radiance. You can buy them a lot cheaper from other sources. Tier 4 Alpha, on the other hand, is a lot harder to come by. So this goes in the max out tier. And I'm going to attempt to put these left to right in terms of importance. Like I'd max out tier 4 alpha before 6 stones, because tier 4 alpha is still like arguably the biggest bottleneck in the game in terms of resources. If you have a really established roster with like rank 4s, you can probably make an argument that this goes here, because it's really only like when you're rank 3 a lot of champions without gems, that's when the tier 4 alpha pain can really be evident. But I definitely consider it to be, in fact, I might put it below the 6 stones, because I still probably value 6 stones higher, but I still think it belongs in this tier because of how scarce it is in general. And unlike these catalysts, this is a lot harder to get, and it's a lot more expensive to get from other sources. All right, next is tier 5 CC. This will also go only when needed. Tier 5 CC, just like these, just like the tier 3 alpha or tier 6 basic, they're pretty easy to come by. And so, yeah, like they sort of, if I'm really running short and I've got nowhere else to buy them from, I usually buy them from the Battle Royale store, but if not, or a Glory store, but if not, then if I somehow run out, then I'll beat them with Radiance, but I don't typically do that. But they are very cheap if you need them. 6-star shards, never. I don't recommend buying 6-star shards with Radiance. If you're at a point where you have Radiance, you're really going to be focusing on 7 stars. Like 6 stars are just in the past. Same with 6-star nexuses, they both belong in the never tier. You're going to be focusing mostly on 7 stars by the point where you're getting lots of Radiance. And even if you're having a little bit of Radiance, I wouldn't just dump it all into 6 stars. I'd save up for the better stuff. Yeah, I don't recommend Radiance is a 7-star resource. It's not a 6-star resource at all. All right. Next is the Awakening Gem Shards. So this is a bit subjective. I'm going to put it in this tier, 1 to 2 per month. There is an argument you can put it here. If you're really hunting like a specific sig stone, you can maybe put it there. I'd recommend just putting it here. There are a lot of ways, well, not a lot, but Awakening Gems are becoming more frequent in different events, or like, you know, like Banquet or Cyber, but also just in-game events and like story content as well. Awakening Gems are becoming more common. And also Titan crystals are becoming more common, so it's, you know, it's easier to awaken Titan champions. So I'd caution against buying too many of these, because these are quite expensive to buy. If they were cheaper, I'd probably put them here, but because of their price, I'd just tend to leave it in this tier, the 1 to 2 per month. Next up is the 7-star. This is the 7-star fully formed crystal and the 7-star basic 7-star shards. Now this one, for me, I'd put it here probably, because 7-star shards in general are just so easy to get. It's similar to this, like there's many easier ways to get 7-star shards, and you know, this is a game where you're never going to be short of 7 stars really. If you're just starting out with 7 stars and you're looking to get your first 3 or 4, then maybe you might spend some on Radiance on 7 stars, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. I definitely wouldn't recommend, you know, buying it every month. It would definitely be a rare occurrence when you would buy 7-star shards. Next is units. Now this one, bang, straight to the top. Units is the best use of Radiance you will ever spend. By far. Better than 6 stones, better than tier 4 alpha. Units is the top of the tree. You're going to get only 750 units, and it's for like 15,000 Radiance, which is nothing. It's dirt cheap. And even though 750 units isn't a crazy amount, but that's every month. So that adds up. That's like, you know, that's almost 9,000 a year just with Radiance. Yeah, it's the best most efficient way to spend your Radiance by far in the game. So you should absolutely be buying 10 lots of units every month if you're not already. So that's where units will go. Next is the incursions thing and symbol. I've also the loyalty symbol. This is representative of the incursions crystal and the loyalty crystal, because I couldn't actually find images for them. These I'm gonna actually put in never, because they are actually quite a lot of Radiance, and well, not a lot, but the champions in there are not worth spending Radiance on. And like, if you play the game enough, you're gonna get enough loyalty and enough incursion shards to get enough crystals on your own. Now, if you're really hunting a specific champion like Void or Black Cat or, I don't know, Hulkbuster, Namor, maybe you can make an argument, because it's not too much Radiance, but for me, that's going to go in the never tier. I would never recommend spending Radiance on these crystals unless you really, really, really want like a specific champion. Mastery point. Now this is a tricky one because you can only buy one of these, but I'm going to put it up here because of how important it is and how valuable it is. Now, a lot of people underrate masteries, but masteries, they are the best they are the best investment in the game because they literally last forever. You're never going to lose your mastery points unless you delete your account. But as long as your account is active, your mastery points are going to be there. And so you're never going to lose mastery points. And to a certain extent, you know, the value of extra mastery points goes down because you have less masteries to spend on, but I always think it's always good to have more mastery points. The more the better. So if you haven't bought this yet, definitely consider it. I know it is a lot of Radiance, I think 125,000, but if you are in a position to afford it, I would definitely get it. However, I wouldn't prioritize it over any of these four. I'd definitely leave it until you can afford it after you've bought this sort of stuff. Next up is the tier 6 CC. Now this is going to go also with these other catalysts. This is a bit more scarce than these, but at the same time, I personally only buy these when I'm running really low. I'll buy like a couple of packs from the Radiant store, and then I'll be set to do a rank up. So I only really buy it when I want to do a specific rank up. Apart from that, I just leave it alone. I don't need a surplus of tier 6 CC, because obviously the more you spend per month, the more expensive it gets. Next up is the Titan shards and the Titan crystal. Now, similar to the 7-star and 7-star shards, these Titans are quite easier to get relative to like a year ago. So I was actually almost tempted to put it here, but Titans are still quite valuable. So I am going to put it in the 1 to 2 per month, but sort of with an asterisk. Like I wouldn't, for someone like me who has so many Titan shards just without spending Radiance. I've never bought a single Titan crystal with Radiance, or maybe one in like a year. For the most part, I've avoided Titan crystals because A, they're a gamble, and B, you get so many more Titan shards from other pieces of content, and C, the Titan champions last for 9 months. You're going to get so many Titan crystals if you're an endgame player or even just a Valiant player. You're going to get so many Titan shards in that 9 months that you're going to have a very good chance to target a specific champion. Now, if you're really, really unlucky and you really want to target someone, yeah, you maybe want to spend a little bit of Radiance, but just keep in mind that the more Titans you buy per month, the more expensive it gets. You can buy about 3 or 4, maybe 5, but then the price just goes exponentially higher to a point where the 10th Titan is like almost 3 times as expensive as the first one. So, not that you're going to buy 10 per month, but I'm just saying you don't want to be buying many of these. All right, next is Battlegrounds tokens. You never want to buy them. This is actually probably the worst sort of worst investment. In fact, I'll put these above the 6-star shards. But this is even worse than buying 6-star shards because it's just you get a terrible conversion rate. It's just if you want Battlegrounds tokens, play Battlegrounds. Don't spend Radiance. Radiance is too valuable. The emote, I don't even know why this is here. I guess I'll put it if you need it, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't really have a position because it doesn't really have value. I guess I'll put it here, but yeah, it's just an emote. Like if you really want this emote, sure, go for it. I don't think I've even bought this emote. It's not terribly expensive, but yeah. Only when needed, I guess. Now, 7-star, sorry, tier 7 basic. Now this is catalyst that's worth talking about, and this is actually going to be the only thing that goes in this tier, 3 to 4 per month. Now, for a lot of people, this actually isn't affordable, 3 to 4 tier 7 basic per month. However, you know, we're gonna need tier 7 basic for a while. We're gonna need it for rank. We need it for rank 4s. We're gonna need it for rank 5s. I'm pretty sure. So this will still be quite valuable in the Radiant store. It is definitely I think it's a better investment than Titan shards, and these are like the 2 biggest cost items. If you don't include like the mastery point or the selector, these are the big boys in terms of price. So I personally save a lot of my Radiance for tier 7 basic. Some people instead save it for Titan shards, but yeah, this is one that you do want to, because if you can do that, you can 3 to 4 per month. It's a rank 4 every month just from Radiance, you know, essentially. But I definitely wouldn't just save all of your Radiance for this. I still would prioritize, you know, units, 6 stones, tier 4 alpha, mastery point if you haven't got it yet, over the tier 7 basic. You can still, if you need to sacrifice a few tier 7 basic to get units and 6 stones, do that, because these are more important. I've got a few more. So this is a tier 4 alloy shards. I almost actually put it in this tier, but because of its price, it is still quite expensive. So I'm putting it in this tier, 1 to 2 per month. This is really targeted at the endgame players who have, you know, very high rank relics. You need those tier 4 alloy shards to get the relics, like the 6-star relics to rank 4. So yeah, it's one that I sometimes buy a few, but it's definitely like not a major seller for me. The last one is the selector. So this is I think this is the Omega Day selector. So this is the one with like Omega Red, Corvus Glaive, Mole Man, Omega Sentinel, and then a couple other champions that I can't remember. Longshot, maybe, and then someone else that I'm gonna kick myself that I don't remember it. But yeah, this is like is really only when you really are trying to target a certain champion. It's the selector, which is nice. It's not, you know, it's not a Titan or a 7-star where you have a random chance to get a champion. This is a selector, so you get to pick and point a certain champion. So if you're a Pokédex hunter like me, you're trying to fill out the Pokédex and you're missing a champion, yeah, this is probably worth the Radiance, just to guarantee that champion. Because I don't know if these champions are in the basic pool. I think they might be, but I can't remember. If they are in the basic pool, this definitely loses value, but I actually can't remember. So let me know if I'm wrong about that. But that's actually going to be the tier list. That's the tier list there. So this is what I think is you should be prioritizing with Radiance. Let me know what you guys think about it. What sort of changes you would make. I'm open to discussion. And yeah, I do aim to update this in the future as the Radiant store gets updated with new things, because I anticipate like in the future we'll get like tier 5 alpha stuff, and maybe other things for Ascension or whatever, maybe, because it is the premium store. So I will attempt to update this as much as I can. But until then, this is the tier list that I've got. Hopefully you can use it to your benefit. But until next time, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.